Hey guys, darkmaster491 here, and this is my round 2 set versus Szymon from the Rose Tower Open tournament during the 4th of July weekend. So let's see what they're gonna go with here. It's still closed team sheet for the Swiss round, so I don't know what their items or their moveset is, so it's kind of a guessing game. I'm gonna expect my opponent to predict me to lead with Colosso, and I kinda wanna go with the Urshifu Dragapult lead, but I do have to be a little wary of the Gastrodon. I feel like they might lead with Gastrodon, but I'm still gonna go with Dragapult Urshifu. Maybe we can bait the Gastrodon to switch in and see if we can get rid of it. They might lead with Gastrodon and Grimmsnarl. I'm not too sure. I mean, I'll definitely keep Rillaboom and Incineroar on the back. I mean, I could lead with Dragapult or Rillaboom, but let's see. They could also lead with the Heatran. Yeah, I feel like if they're expecting Dragapult Colosso or Urshifu Colosso, they might lead with Gastrodon to counterplay that. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it safe for this game one though. I'm gonna just lead with the Dragapult Urshifu. And if they lead with Heatran, I'll definitely go for close combats. It's gonna be kind of difficult because, let's see, that just means it's gonna be harder to deal with the Grimmsnarl strategy because my opponent can set up screens and I can't use Surging Strikes while the Gastrodon's on the field because the Storm Drain is just going to redirect Surging Strikes into Gastrodon. And yeah, I guess the lead correct, but you know, I wasn't really sure if they really would lead with that. I mean, yeah, I should have led with Rillaboom to put on some more pressure into the Gastrodon. But I could still try to get rid of Gastrodon in turn 1. I'm gonna go for close combat, and let's see, I could go for the max Phantasm, drop the Gastrodon's defense, and try to pick up the KO with a double up. This is problematic because I have no way to crit through the Reflect. If the Grimmsnarl is going to go for Reflect. But we'll just go for display and see how things work out. I mean, even with the -1 defense, it's still going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, even with the, if they set up the Reflect with the Grimmsnarl. So yeah, I'm going to Dynamax my Dragapult, and yeah, we'll see how things go. Just gonna focus on dropping defenses, see if we can get rid of this Gastrodon, and then we can just go for the Surging Strikes onto everything else. Okay, so they're gonna set up the Reflect as I expected. Okay, this should do maybe around 50% or less than that. Yeah, a little less than 50%. Yeah, I didn't really think it would do that much, but yeah, Gastrodon is kind of hard to deal with. Yeah, because you can't if I could Surging Strikes, that would have been great, but pretty much every Gastrodon has the Storm Drain ability, and Yawn is really bad. I don't like Yawn. It's like so annoying. But yeah, literally like every Gastrodon runs that. I mean, it's closed team sheets. I wouldn't really know if it has Yawn or not, but I kind of figured it would have Yawn. So that's really bad for Dragapult. Let's see. I mean, she could switch out Gastrodon to something, but they have to Reflect up. Yeah, I don't think my opponent can really make many defensive switches. I'm going to switch out Dragapult because I don't want it to go to sleep. Dragapult could be kind of useful later on in the game. Let's see what they decide to do. I'm just going to send in Incineroar now. I don't want Dragapult to go to sleep. Yeah, Yawn is like the most annoying move in the game. But yeah, well played. Because if I just left in the Dragapult, imagine if I just max Phantasm that Latias slot. I was actually considering it for a second, to go for the max Phantasm into the Grimmsnarl. But yeah, I don't want Dragapult going to sleep. Okay, this is actually really scary because my opponent could Dynamax Latias here, so it's not really looking good for me. I think I want to go for a parting shot into Latias. I have no idea what this Latias is going to do. I mean, most Latias have like Bulldoze, maybe Tailwind, or it could be offensive Latias. Calm Mind. Lots of options. I don't really know what kind of Latias my opponent's running. Urshifu, kind of want to switch it out, but I don't really see any good switch-ins. I have like Rillaboom in the right. Rillaboom's going to take a lot of damage from like Max Wormwind if she Dynamaxes. Yeah, Gastrodon's gone, so I can just Surging Strikes at least. Gonna go for Parting Shot into Latias because I'm pretty sure it's gonna Dynamax here to negate the Fake Out. Okay, they didn't even. Oh wow, that's a. That probably is a critical miss. Wow, Reflect type. That's really. Wow, that's a cool tech. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use that with Latias before. It's really cool, actually. Yeah, we're gonna go for the Surging Strikes. Not gonna do too much, but at least you crit through Reflex. Yeah, get some good damage. It's a 2-hit KO. Let's see, now that I know about the Thunder Wave, probably gonna switch Incineroar back into that slot. Reflect type is really interesting, but you're basically, it's basically the Grimmsnarl's type now. So Latias is now a Dark and Fairy type. I believe that's how Reflect type works, right? It basically takes on the type of the Pokemon that it reflected off of. So Latias just use Reflect type on the wow, Grassy Seed? Okay, wow, that's some tech right there. Okay. Yeah, they have a Rillaboom. Okay, I was like a little confused about that because I forgot they had the Rillaboom on their team, so that explains why they have Grassy Seed. But I do have Surging Strike, so I can crit through that. God, I really don't want to get Thunder Wave. I feel like you just Thunder Wave Urshifu, because Urshifu is like my best answer to everything they have on the field. Let's see how much maybe Wood Hammer does to Latias. I'm pretty sure maybe they have like Heatran in the back. I'm like really tempted to get rid of the Grimmsnarl, but I also want damage on Latias. I think I'm just gonna Wood Hammer Latias and we'll see what the Latias is up to here. Definitely a very creative set. I have to give it to my opponent. That's very creative. Find out to be a very interesting set. Okay, so they go for the Thunder Wave into the Incineroar and Calm Mind. Okay, this is a setup Latias. I gotta be careful. I gotta get rid of this thing as fast as possible. So yeah, now Wood Hammer does neutral damage because it's basically Grimmsnarl's type, Fairy and Dark. So yeah, Grass does neutral. I can hit it with Flare Blitz, Surging Strikes. I mean, the Reflect type was a nice idea, but I feel like it just makes it easier for me to deal with. They should have just left Latias. It's Dark Fairy. They should have just left it as Dragon and Psychic. Because yeah, most of my Pokemon will actually have a hard time dealing with the Latias. But I guess they were concerned about Dragapult. Okay, I'm tempted to like read into a Protect on Latias, but I don't know. I actually don't really think they would have Protect. Probably have like Recover. Well, I'll go for another Wood Hammer and yeah. We'll Scout for yeah, I feel like they were gonna switch. So that's why I didn't really want to target that slot. Okay, at this point, I don't think they have Bulldoze on Latias or Weakness Policy Heatran. Because at first I thought it was like Weakness Policy and Bulldoze Latias. They're gonna go for Recover. That's fine. Alright, same damage. Not really much of a change there. I mean, we're basically in the same spot as last turn. Another Parting Shot. That's good. So I believe the Latias is now at -1 in special attack. Gonna bring Urshifu and let's see if we can threaten this Heatran out. Or maybe they Dynamax Heatran or Latias. Man, I kinda wanna go for like Grassy Glide, Searching Strikes. I feel like this is... If it has Grassy Seed, it's probably not max speed. Yeah, I'm really tempted to just go for Surging Strikes and into Latias. Just double into the Latias and get rid of it. I mean, Heatran I can deal with later on. But I also kind of want damage on Heatran. I'm just gonna double into Latias. Grassy Glide or Wood Hammer? Depends on how fast the Latias is. It's like kind of questionable. It might Wood Hammer. Yeah, I think I'll just go for the Wood Hammer, because okay, if Latias is faster and they recover, then yeah, Grassy Glide wouldn't pick up the KO, and neither would Surging Strikes. So I'd rather go with Surging Strikes and Wood Hammer. This way, Surging Strikes will hit before Wood Hammer, and if it does more, then Wood Hammer can maybe pick up the KO into the Latias. Let's see, Reflect type. Oh, what'd they do that for? Because now they're weak to Surging Strikes. Okay, that wasn't smart, because now they're Steel and Fire type, so you're actually weak to Surging Strikes, so I don't really agree with that play. Yeah, I don't agree with that play at all. I mean, they might lose the game off of that. Yeah, I'm not sure what my opponent was reading there, like what were they expecting, but works out for me. I'm probably gonna lose a Rillaboom. Oh, they're targeting the Urshifu. Okay, that's interesting, and kind of makes sense. You want to get rid of that Urshifu, but that's fine with me. And you reduce the power of Surging Strikes. I am very much fine with this though. No, they have leftovers. Okay, so no weakness policy. Then this actually makes the game a little easier, because I don't have to worry about that. Let's see, maybe I can switch Urshifu out. Pivot out, bring in Incineroar, wait for the Dynamax turns to end, and I'll just knock out this Grimmsnarl for now. Grass Glide's not going to pick up the KO. I think I'm just going to Wood Hammer. Or do I stay in? Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna... I'll switch into Incineroar and just gonna go for that Wood Hammer. I think. Let me see how many turns. They have 2 more turns of Reflect. Yeah, I think Wood Hammer should do it. See what my opponent decides to do here. I can go for Parting Shots to reduce the Heatran's special attack. Alright, that's perfect. They went for another Thunder Wave. Okay, that's really good. So we get rid of this Grimmsnarl. That should be a good game. If I can stall out these Dynamax turns, then get rid of the Heatran. And yeah, so they went for the Max Flare into... Yep, okay. They're trying to get rid of the Urshifu. Yeah, if they got that Thunder Wave off, they would have gotten rid of the Urshifu. So, definitely a good thing I switched out. And now I could... Okay, I could maybe protect... I'm not even going to protect Rillaboom, because what is Rillaboom doing here anyways? I mean, I have protected Rillaboom, but like, you know, they could go for Max Quake onto Incineroar. Incineroar's... The funny thing is Incineroar doesn't really... It can't beat Heatran, because it just has Flare Blitz, and Heatran's gonna have Flash Fire, so... But, I mean... Incineroar can Parting Shot, so... That's basically the purpose it serves. Just Parting Shot. And stall the Dynamax. That's pretty much what we're gonna do, and then I have Urshifu in the back, so... Yeah, as soon as these Dynamax turns are over, it should be GG. Yeah, I'll bring in Dragapult and Phantom Force. Alright, it should be a lot easier now that the reflect is gone. They could bring Urshifu and go for Detect and Phantom Force. That works. The Dynamax turns end. Okay, so we're good. Okay, I mean either way, if there was one more Dynamax turn, it could just Detect anyways. That's not that big of a deal. Okay, so they're gonna forfeit. That was pretty much fine. Because they did have one more Dynamax turn. Then I could have just went for Detect, Phantom Force. And then the following turn I would go for Phantom Force in close combat. That should knock out the Heatran. Alright, so let's see what my opponent goes with for game 2. I definitely think I want to lead with the Rillaboom this time to threaten the Gastrodon, because that Gastrodon was like really annoying with the yawn. I don't know if they maybe bring Spectre this time. Spectre is kind of threatening. They have they do have the Thunder Wave. So they could Thunder Wave Dragapult. Not sure if I have too much counterplay to that. I mean, I could switch in Incineroar. They could read that. I don't know, because they know that I know that they have Thunder Wave on the Grimmsnarl. So did they go for it on Dragapult, or they expect me to switch? Well, I think, yeah, these four are pretty fine. I mean, I guess Togekiss is nice too, but it's not really gonna beat Heatran. So yeah, unless I get a bunch of Air Slash flinches. But yeah, it's kind of hard for Togekiss to deal with Steel types. Colossal is just not gonna beat Gastrodon. So I mean, yeah, I have G-Max Volcalith, Max Flare, Max Quake, so it doesn't have Overgrowth, so it's not gonna beat Gastrodon, unfortunately. So it's not worth it to bring the Colossal into the set. They also have Thunder Wave on the Grimmsnarl, so yeah, it's gonna be troublesome. See what they lead with in this game. They lead with Gastrodon. Will be putting on a lot of pressure with Rillaboom. I think Dragapult and Rillaboom should be the play. And they could maybe lead with the Spectre and the Grimmsnarl. Okay, they do decide to go with that route. Interesting. I mean, here I could go for Fake Out and Max Phantasm. Yeah, they could play defensive though. Could switch out Spectre. So then do I double into Grimmsnarl? I mean, that's another option. But it's a little risky because if Spectre stays in, then kind of in trouble. Yeah, I want to go for Fake Out into Grimmsnarl. I mean, it's a pretty safe play. Worst case, they like Max Guard or switch out Spectre. They switch out Spectre, they're going to take a lot of damage. So it's not that terrible. They don't really have that many defensive switches to, like, you switching Gastrodon, that's really their best switch, and I'm not even gonna attack that. Oh, it's a double switch. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I know they're just gonna protect Gastrodon next turn, like, pretty obvious. I mean, if they don't protect, then I'm gonna wind up taking a yawn, which is kind of a problem. But I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't want to lose the Gastrodon. But it's gonna take so much damage, so like, I don't know if they really care about preserving it. I mean, they could switch right back out. Okay, fake out, max Phantasm. I really wish I went for the Grassy Glot into that slot, because that would have made this game go much faster. So how does my opponent counterplay this? Thinking of going for another Max Phantasm, could Phantasm Gastrodon. They're definitely gonna Max Heatran. Or maybe they just Heat Wave, I don't know. But they're gonna switch out Gastrodon and Protect, I'm pretty sure. It's probably in their best interest to switch. Maybe into Grimmsnarl. Yeah, I'm gonna predict that they're gonna protect their switch. And yeah, preserve Rillaboom for later. They're probably just gonna switch out Gastrodon. In case they go for the Max Flare and Dynamax Heatran. Oh, okay. Alright, so they're switching out. Huh. Okay, alright, so they won't protect as I predicted, but this isn't quite what I had in mind of what they would do. They're playing very, very defensively. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of works out for them, but my opinion is it's a little too defensive. They're taking way too much damage. And I can just fake out this turn. I could even go for the Airstream into Grimmsnarl. Yeah, I think I want this Grimmsnarl gone. Or do I go for another Phantasm into Gastrodon? Because I could do that. And whatever switches in takes a lot of damage. Go for the fake out into Grimmsnarl. Thunder Wave is like really annoying though. So I'm questioning whether I go for Airstream into Grimmsnarl. Yeah, because the sooner I get rid of the Grimmsnarl, the better. But they could yawn. I mean, if I were my opponent, I would probably just stay in. I guess I'll go for the fake out into the Grimmsnarl and the Max Phantasm into Gastrodon. And whatever they switch into, if they switch, which they do, is going to take a lot of damage from Max Phantasm. So they switch into Heatran. Okay, so the fake out's going to prevent the Grimmsnarl from going for the Reflect. And they're going to take a lot of damage from Max Phantasm. Yeah, I'm guessing they're probably trying to go for the Reflect. So yeah, Heatran's going to take a lot of damage. So yeah, I mean, they're trying to play defensive, but I don't really think it's working out that well for them. But they managed to keep all their Pokemon alive, so they did a good job with that. But I mean, that's just so much damage. The only thing is the Heatran could recover it with the leftovers, but they would have to leave the Heatran in, and if the Heatran stays in, it's gonna keep the -1 in the physical defense. And I could have Urshifu come in later and deal with the Heatran. For now, I do want to get rid of the Grimmsnarl. You see, they could either go for... Yeah, I don't want to get Thunder Wave. But they could go for, like, Reflect. Let's see, it's got -2 physical defense, so I'm going to try to get rid of the Grimmsnarl with the Flare Blitz. Let's see if we can pick up the KO at that range. If it sets up the Reflect. Because they could decide to go for the Reflect and predict me to switch Dragapult out. Well, I mean, if they go for the Thunder Wave, then that also makes sense, because then Dragapult's not going to be outspeeding Spectrier, which is a pretty big problem. Okay, let's see if we can... Oh, they're going to go for Body Press. That was a nice read. Okay. Good play, good play. But they're -1 defense, so it's not going to do that much to Incineroar, since Body Press depends on the user's physical defense stat. And Heatran's at -1 defense, so yeah, that's why Body Press is just not doing that much damage. Which makes me think that they do have Flash Cannon, or Max Steel Spike, basically. So, kind of wonder why they didn't go for Max Steel Spikes last game. Although, I mean, if you're in front of an Urshifu, like, you kind of want to just get rid of it and use Max Play to reduce that super effective water damage. Alright, so the big threats on the field. What do we do? I do need damage into it with Rillaboom. So in my opinion, I think they should Dynamax the Spectrier, because Spectrier is putting on a lot of pressure now. I'm going to protect Rillaboom and predict the Max Phantasm. And I might want to go for the Parting Shot. They could go for the Max Quake, but Incineroar has the Shuka Berry, so should be able to take that. I have a lot of special defense on Incineroar and HP. Yeah, okay, so they don't even Dynamax. So if they Mud Shot it, Incineroar should survive. Okay, they go for the Will-O-Wisp. That's pretty good. Should be another Body Press or Heat Wave. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, I thought they would Dynamax Spectre, because Spectre is kind of scary, unless they're just a support Spectre, which it seems to be, because that's Will-O-Wisp. But, I mean, at this point, I feel like they should be using Spectre more offensively. Let's see. Gastrodon's still alive. Yeah, they did a good job keeping the Gastrodon alive, so I can't really... Urshifu can't beat Spectrier, while Gastrodon could potentially switch in. So I'm gonna have to bring in Dragapult. Well, unless I go for close combat into the Heatran, that's an option. And if they switch in the Gastrodon, then that gets knocked out and I can Surging Strikes the following turn. I think Dragapult is the play though. Let's see. They don't seem to be Dynamaxing, so I mean, it doesn't seem like they want to Dynamax the Spectrier, I mean. So are they really waiting to Dynamax Heatran? I mean, I guess that's an option. Okay, the Grassy Terrain ended. Didn't really have too many switch outs. Would have switched out into like Incineroar, but Incineroar was on the field. I couldn't really switch it out. Okay. What do we do here? Could go for the Wood Hammer anyways. You see the Reflect is still up. And they're -1, so I think they're less likely to Dynamax now. If they switch into Gastrodon, then they just lose Gastrodon. And Phantom Force will deal the super effective damage onto Spectrier the following turn. Let's see if they decide to switch out the Spectre. Okay, good, good, good. They're going to switch out the Spectre. And they're going to finish off this Gastrodon. Very nice. And I get a Phantom Force next turn into the Spectre, so this is really good. Really, really good. Okay, so it seems they have the Rindo Berry. Okay, that's fine. Still going to pick up the KO, so it doesn't matter. It's at 50% health. But honestly, even if it was at full HP, I'm pretty sure that would knock it out without the Grassy Terrain, because Rillaboom's too strong. And we got Miracle Seed, so there's no way Gastrodon's living that either way. Yeah, Rillaboom's so good. And Heatran's gonna go for Body Press. I guess maybe they were reading a switch into Incineroar. I mean, I had to just stay in and just go for it. Okay, they're gonna take a lot of damage. And they have the reflect up. I feel like this is kind of troubling because they could Dynamax Spectre still. Could go for the max guard. But I mean, you're wasting a Dynamax turn just to max guard. Okay, no Dynamax, so very much fine with that. I mean, if they Dynamax, then it would have taken like 40% damage, 45, so really surprised they didn't go for that Dynamax. I mean, if I were my opponent, I would have Dynamaxed that Spectre and just pick up those KOs. The Spectre is scary. But yeah, we're gonna get rid of that Spectre, and now it's just Heatran against whatever I have in the back, because yeah, they're gonna Heat Wave, and that should pick up the Rillaboom. Yep. Okay, so we still got Urshifu. I believe Urshifu didn't take any damage, so yeah, no Gastrodon to worry about. So I can go for those Surging Strikes. It's gonna do a lot of damage. Now, the only concern here is if they somehow beat Urshifu, I'm gonna lose this game, because Incineroar can't damage Heatran, so have to be a little careful. Now they have Reflect up, but the question is, can I pick up the KO with onto Dynamax Heat? Because they're gonna Dynamax Heatran. So does Surging Strikes plus Close Combat pick up the KO onto Heatran? Because if they go for the Max Flare, then yeah, Urshifu is probably gonna have to go for Close Combat to get more damage. Because yeah, Surging Strikes in the Sun's not gonna do much damage. Yeah, even though the Reflect is up, so it's a bit questionable which move I go for, because they're like -1 defense. But yeah, actually it looks like Surging Strikes is doing a lot of damage. Okay. Yeah, this is good enough. I think Close Combat should do it. Yeah, so I figured they were gonna Max Flare. Okay. That is fine. That is fine. Okay, Parting Shot's gonna reduce their special attack. Now the concern is, let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I mean, if Close Combat doesn't pick up the KO, I lose the game. But that would be kind of dumb if it survived. And this -1 defense, they have the Reflect up, but I mean, I would think Close Combat picks up this KO. Because I don't want to Surging Strikes, because like, if I Surging Strikes and they get a crit, I lose the game also, so. I mean, with the Parting Shot, I would survive if I went for another Surging Strikes, but I think I should finish it off. I mean, worst case, I have no choice but to just Parting Shot. I wish Incineroar had like Darkest Lariat or something. If I put that, this would be like the perfect game to have Darkest Lariat on Incineroar. But thankfully, Close Combat's gonna finish off the Heatran, so that is good game.